Don't worry about anything else. Make sure we pay proper taxes and don't worry about death. When God is going to take us up there, He is going to take it. But let's make the best of it right now. So abundance living is coming with abundance mindset and thinking everything 5 times, 10 times. What can happen if I expanded my thinking to this level? So, we all have dreams. So dream even bigger than what we are dreaming right now, because no matter what, your expectations about the dreams, when you put them into the timeline, you can accomplish.
Hey, it's Rocky. Welcome to Richer Soul. Today, we have a returning guest, Vinney Chopra, who lives life with a constant smile, and he's also a real estate syndicator. Imagine it's 12 months from now, and you've achieved your major life goals. How does it feel to be in the best shape of your life, to wake up energized, excited about the day, to have great relationships and friends who support you and propel you forward? How does it feel to have an excess of money, to be able to make the choices you want, to be fearless and open to trying new adventures? Imagine being connected to the universe and it providing everything you desire. It's possible over time, and your past does not dictate your future. The only thing holding you back from this vision is you. It's time to take control of our thoughts and use them to our advantage. Welcome to Richer Soul, where we achieve our dreams and bring balance to health, wealth, relationships, time, and spirituality. If you have not had a chance to listen to episodes 1 through 9, I encourage you to go back and listen to the framework behind Richer Soul and how to create the life of your dreams. You can also find all the show notes for this episode at richersoul.com. While you're there, you can sign up for a monthly email where I share the best articles I read this month, let you know about upcoming episodes, and share a little wisdom. You can also listen to coaching calls under the Coaching Calls tab. I also share the most interesting articles I read every week on Facebook at facebook.com/Richer Soul. And there's also a Facebook group where you can ask questions and interact with other listeners. I'm not sure who said today's quote. Dear optimist and pessimist, while you were busy debating over whether the glass was half full or half empty, I drank it. Signed, The Opportunist. Life is full of opportunities. We need to step up and take them. Too often we get stuck in indecision. But sometimes taking a step forward is the right solution. Of course, we always need to make sure that we don't take an inappropriate risk. Last week's action step was to live tomorrow as an intentional day. And to ask yourself, what do you want? I live every day with intentionality. My calendar directs me to what I need to do, and it also keeps time and space open to allow for thinking time. It's something we constantly forget to do. As you listen to today's episode, pay attention to how Vinney sees trends in his industry, how he uses data to make decisions. It's not a gut decision. It's what do the numbers say? That's true in every part of life. We can't guess unknown futures, but we can see which way the trends are moving and then take an appropriate action in that direction. Vinney is back to join us. He was on episode 62, and today we're going to catch up and see what he's been working on for the past 3 years and learn a little bit more about the real estate marketplace, trends, and syndication deals. If you haven't heard his previous episode on how to smile in the face of adversity, check it out. You will hear how Vinney faces life and how that has allowed him to stay married for over 40 years and thrive well into his late 60s It's episode 62. Vinney Chopra is a real estate investor, syndicator, international best-selling author, host of 4 podcasts, multifamily educator, mentor, dedicated husband for over 40 years, with 2 grown children living in Danville, California. He's built a portfolio of over 4,500 units amounting to over $440 million in the multifamily, senior assisted living, and hospitality arenas. He's passionate about helping others achieve financial freedom and giving back to our seniors who've given us so much. Let's meet our guest. Welcome to Rich Your Soul, Vinney Chopra. It's great to have you back to join us today.
Oh, thank you, Rocky. It's such a pleasure. Thanks for having me on your show.
And I'm excited to continue our conversation from last time. So I think you were on back in 2018. Catch us up a little bit. What's kept you smiling for the past 3 years?
Oh my gosh, Rocky, thank you for asking. To be truthful, I just look at everything that comes in my lap, good, bad, ugly, with a smile. And you got to have that attitude, because otherwise, a lot of these stresses and strains of life can really bring you down. And then we waste time in just trying to figure things out, and then even take more time to bounce back. So I always feel like, you got to just take what's given to you. God will only give to you something if he knows that you can handle it. So that's my overall thinking. You got to just overall, find a way to find a solution, I guess is the word. And that's what keeps me smiling, even though, we have had ups and downs since you and I talked. I got sued twice. We had, hurricanes come, and, the roofs got turned for the properties, ripped off, all those things. But those are, big things or small things. But if you look at it, you know what? We have them. Whatever happened due to nature or due to some mistake in the company, we need to find a solution, right? So that's why I keep on smiling every day, even at this tender age of 68. I'm 68 years of age. I'll be 69 this year.
Well, and congratulations for still constantly going. So many people want to retire at 65. And I don't know what they plan on doing all day. I know for me, I have no desire anymore to retire. I enjoy what I do. So why not spend my days doing it? And if I can make a little money along the way, hey, that's a bonus, right?
I totally agree with you, Rocky. What you're saying is so right. What would I do? Sometimes I tell my wife, oh, we don't have much to do. Like my calendar is pretty empty, right? And she says, oh, great. So let's do this and that. And then, the thing is, you can spend that time with the family, what you just mentioned. And when you love something so much, you can get a lot more done in less time. That's the other thing I found. If we hate something, it takes us much longer to motivate us or think through and put up the plans. But like you said, you love, what you do. And what I love, I get up, mostly now I'm getting up at 4:45 in the morning or 5 o'clock and do my miracle morning, wonderful, listening, chanting, exercising, and then yoga, and then eating good breakfast, and then getting into my appointments. But the key thing is to really enjoy what you do. So what you're saying is true. I tell all the teams that I'm ready for next 30 years. I don't know if I live up to, 68 is like 98, right? But who knows with the medical, developments happening and everything, we might be able to, take care of some parts that don't work in the 90s, and still you and I can live up to maybe 100.
And I think medical science is definitely creating new opportunities, new treatments. And I think the next 10 years are going to dramatically change the way that we look at things. I think the bigger problem is in the past, medical care has always been around fixing sickness.
Yeah.
The future of healthcare is prevention. Like, how do we better treat our bodies up front so that we don't get sick and so that we don't age? I was just reading a book and they said that aging is a disease and that there are ways to possibly remove the disease and slow down the whole aging process. So I'm looking forward to that. We'll see how it is and what they can reverse going forward.
I totally agree. Totally agree. I know with the 3D printing, I was reading an article where they are able to actually 3D make, some of the parts of the heart or the arteries or something I was reading. So if it is done for the good cause, I'm for it, and that way. So you're right. Yeah. With the technology and where we are next 10, 15, 20 years can really become very different. And also the silver tsunami, which is going through USA and across the world, is that 10,000 baby boomers are turning 65 every day in USA right now. Every day. So 10,000 more people are becoming seniors and 65. Like we had just talked, a lot of time people will say, I want to retire at 60, I want to retire at 62, or I want to retire at 65. But I hope that, we keep ourselves active. I think that's the word. I really remember my grandpa who was driving a car in New Delhi, India, in the streets. You know how the traffic can be over there at the age of 92. At the age of 92. And he was straight. He didn't use a cane at all. And that's the picture, Rocky, I have in my mind. I tell Kanchan, my wife, we've been married 40 years. Last year, 40th wedding, 40. And I just tell her, I say, honey, thank you so much for giving me good food, 3 meals, and she really likes to cook, and nutritious things, and non-fat, and, and not too much fried things and things like that, so that we can, cherish, our body more, body, soul, and mind. That's soul, and that's your, podcast name, because, I believe that if we can take care of our body and our mind and, really make sure that we are immersed daily in some worthwhile activities, we live longer. That's what I'm sure everybody probably, can relate to that. But doing it is the thing, doing it and not just, not being active. We need to be active, volunteering, doing hobbies, and doing some exercise, all those things. That's how I look at it. So I just feel like, just like you, I want to live till 100. I don't know, it's good to have picture in mind, that's why when I sit on the chair, I always sit straight, try to sit straight. If I slouch a little bit, I feel, oh no, I need to sit straight. When I walk, I don't like to walk looking at the road. See, a lot of time when people walk, they look at the road more. That tilts your neck down. And somebody shared with me, my coach, personal coach at the gym, he says, Vinney, look in the sky. Look up. Because when you look up, you are straighter. And he even mentioned it, Rocky, that in the car, the rear window, the mirror, please lift it a little bit higher. So in other words, when you have to kind of go straight and lift your body up to see in the back. So those few things have stayed with me, and I try to do those.
So what's the secret to a successful marriage? And congrats on 40 years. Oh,
thank you, Rocky. I think the secret really is, us coming from, of course, India. I found my wife here. We both came to this land of opportunity and joined hands 40 years back. I think it's just that it's 100% from both the sides. It's not 50-50. Many times we feel it's a 50-50 game. It's not. And the respect and really finding out from each other what's important to them. So what's important to Kanchan, my wife, and what's important to me. She's been really a rock for my success. What we have done through ups and downs in real estate, going from like 14 units, apartment complex that we bought duplex and singleplex, but then 14 units for 180,000. And now we bought $52 million deal and then $35 million deal we just bought 3 months back. So I think all that growth has come in our business. Like we have 4,500 doors, or units, which is come because of her being solid, taking care of the family when Neil and Monica were young and contributing to, our business as much as she could. So those things really make it marriage work. Marriage is a whole system, which is 100, respect, and whole compromises sometimes, definitely. But at the same token, if we are moving in the same direction as a goal, then we are able to lift each other, right? And then agreeing to some of the things which are common to the family, and then really making sure that we have time for each other. Those are some things come to my mind.
Well, whatever you did, clearly it has worked. And
no, thank you. Thank you so much. And we know for sure that, we are destined for till we die. So that's the other, the feeling is, don't want to go divorce. Divorce never, ever, ever has come in our thinking and never has even come on our lips. When I say divorce, it's the big thing is that, we fight. Maybe, Rocky, you will not believe. Maybe some people will say, Vinney, you're just something. We fight maybe once or twice a year. Hold on. Just once or twice a year. That's all. Or that also a very small thing. And we'll talk about it and then we'll just let it go, right there. So I think having that attitude and the mindset of that it's a win-win, it's a, compromise, it's a full equation together, taking us to the next level, with the family and with enjoying the life. I think that's the key part, it's so important.
And that's very true. I have noticed when I meet some people who are in their 70s, and usually I don't know they're in their 70s because they look so young and they're so vibrant. And what I find is that they are people who are still working, doing what they love and enjoying life. And I think that all kind of comes together as the secret to staying young and staying healthy and living a wonderful life. So I'm always looking at people who are 20 years older than me who've done it right to figure out what their secrets are.
No, thank you. And you're right. You're 100% right what you're saying. If we are active, if we feel good about ourselves, our self-esteem comes with what we accomplish. It could be in any different format. I mean, even if you are fully retired, you're going for golfing or playing some exercise and taking care of body and listening and yoga, all that, and eating right and volunteering and keeping your mind stimulated. Rocky, that's something I believe everybody should really stimulate their mind and write books and do podcasts or, do courses, things like that, I don't know if I mentioned to you or not, by the way, probably because that was 2019. I wrote a book on syndication because that has been my life, is pooling the money together from other investors to buy larger commercial units. And I wrote my apartment syndication made easy book, which got 400 reviews, by the way, mostly 5-star. So that's my book on Amazon. Then I wrote another book on positivity. Yeah, that was very interesting. My wife wrote read the book, the first one, she says, Vinod, this is good. I like it, but it's for limited audience. It's only for, investors who are interested in real estate. I have buried you for 39 years. It was year before, right? 39 years. You should write a book on positivity. And guess what? Next morning, I got up and started writing my book on positivity. So that was my second book that I just published last year in 2020 in the pandemic. And I think I have 50 or 60 reviews so far. We just been 6 months only for that book. And then, so it's good to write books, My third book is coming out on senior living also. So keeping yourself really looking into our life, say, how can I make an impact in the lives of others? So I really believe everybody can contribute, especially if we are at 65 years of age. We have accomplished quite a lot, but how can we impart that knowledge to younger generation or to the people around, or by giving volunteering and getting involved?
So what is the book going to focus on with the senior living?
I'm so glad you asked me, Rocky. What I've been trying to do, to be truthful, is for the last 2 years or so, I said, I'm becoming senior, right? I'm 68 now, but I said, how can I really make a big difference in the lives of seniors? And that's anywhere from 65 to 105, 110 years of age. That's a 40-year span. And then when I read the book, Big Shift, wow, that just opened my mind even more, because that's what told me that lots and lots of seniors, as they're turning, 65 and above, they are migrating from the cold places of the North and Canadian borders and all that, and upstairs to like Florida, Virginia, warmer climates, Texas, Arizona, things like that. So I said, okay, how can I really become multifamily is what I do. I've been doing, apartment purchases. So then I came across a very good friend of mine through the law of attraction. I really believe in that. Law of manifestation and law of attraction. So by sending the signals out, I had John Rusin join my company as a VP of my academy, where I teach, about investing and everything. And he says, Vinney, you got to talk to my friend. We went to school together, and he is in senior living build-ups, like all these beautiful communities. They have like movie theater in them. They have beautiful 5-star dining in these, senior assisted living spaces, salons, spas, meeting rooms, dining rooms, and sunrooms, and just beautiful, beautiful. That's what got me attracted, Rocky. So that's what senior living, actually, the silver tsunami, like I shared, 10,000 people are turning 65. Similarly, maybe 6,000 are turning 80 and 85 and 90. So what we thought was maybe we could contribute and bring value to our beloved seniors in their golden years. See, and I'm only in the assisted living space because I don't want to be in the nursing homes. I don't want to be in the rehab centers, which is a very business driven with the doctors and equipment and everything. And I know COVID has not helped much either, because COVID deaths have come in the nursing homes a lot more and rehab centers. But the ones that we are building and managing, we had 0 coronavirus and then 0 death in the ones that we are managing. Because of the lockdown, we manage them ourselves, but then we want to also make sure that we adhere to the CDC guidelines, and we have had no death and no coronavirus. With vaccine coming now, it's even better, much better. So we are not in independent living. We are not in the 55 plus living. We are only in the assisted living and memory care, Rocky. And that's where if some, has a slip and fall, then they have to go to assisted living when their doctor tell them. Or if one of the spouse passes away, then the life kind of degrades for the other spouse. Or if they cannot cook, living independently in their home is the best way to really live golden years, right? But we try to bring that same feeling in the apartments, which is only one story with 3 to 4 to 6 courtyards in there, with the swimming pools, with the putting greens, with the waterfall functions and fountains, and then also making beautiful vegetation, have the seniors even grow vegetables and, plant flower beds and things like that. And then also really enjoy the life within the community with the grand pianos we bring. We bring also the entertainment for them into the multifamily, which is one story only, by the way. We only believe in one story over 5 to 7 acres of land. So it's like a resort for seniors where they can really enjoy the caregivers. So we have almost 55 to 60 caregivers for 88 unit, community, 88 residents, let's say. So that way we are finding that the seniors, the population is like 5.7 million right now of the 85 plus population in USA, but it's going to get to 20 million. Wow. From 5.7 to 20 million in the next 20 or 30 years. And there is a huge demand for very nice housing, I should say, throughout the USA.
Congratulations and doing a wonderful job in serving that community and helping them to enjoy their final years and do it in style, right?
That's so true. We have our motto, my partner actually, his motto, and we took that same thing. We want to spoil the generation that has spoiled us. So that's our motto.
So let's kind of take a little bit of a turn and let's talk a little bit about syndication. It seems to have become a lot more popular as of recent, and I see a lot more offers coming up. If you could explain to the audience, what are syndicated deals?
Totally, love to. Syndication as a word means pooling money from the like-minded people for a common cause to scale up or invest in any kind of business. Could be real estate, could be buying a plane, could be even opening up a business, where then the profitability of that investment is relying on few members of the investor group. So that's just the language. But now there are syndicators like me and others who have to abide by the SEC ruling, that Securities and Exchange Commission ruling, which we have to do the private placement memorandum is one document it's called, then the subscription agreement and operating agreement. So those 3 documents are done by SEC attorneys, not the real estate attorneys. They're different. And they then try to show us how we could do the exemptions. I don't want to make it a big complicated, but the key thing is we are pooling the money together legally with total transparency and with full disclosures and everything, so that the investors can make their mind whether it's good to invest in this opportunity or not. And we are not CPAs or attorneys, so we give all the information to the investors, and then investors show it to their CPAs and attorneys and their pastor at church or their family, friends, to make sure that they're making the right decision. Now, if I may say, for anybody who wants to invest in a syndication deal, like me or others, they need to see who the principals are, who are at the top. The general partner is called, and limited partner. So limited partners are the investors who are putting 50,000 or 100,000 or 200,000 and becoming owner of that particular acquisition, let's say. For example, in my senior assisted living, if it's worth $20 million, if anybody gives the money, they are on the title of that property legally, and they will have a certain share of that particular, investment. Now, what should they look into for the syndicators is the principal, who is on the top, who is going to get on the loan, who is going to operate that deal. It's not just buying the deal, but who's going to manage it on a daily basis and weekly basis and give the preferred returns back to the investors. The other part is their track record. They should always ask for track record. What have they done and how have the deals, gone in the past? And then, of course, what's their criteria? How do they underwrite the deal? That's another word, underwriting the deal with conservative numbers, assumptions, or they are very flamboyant and they can show on paper very high returns, but they have never achieved them. Or they are just being very, very in the COVID right now, happening. I mean, we need to be very, very strict with the loan to value, the loans we get, like the property we bought in Austin a couple of months back. We went 65% LTV. Other words, we put 35% down so that the loan amount will be lesser. And that is the right thing to do in these uncertain times.
I know it's not always easy for people to do all of the due diligence, but at the end of the day, you are putting trust in the person who is doing the operations and everything else. So you do need to take your time and truly get to know them as people and figure out what's going on with regards to that. Today's episode is sponsored by Profit Answer Man Podcast. Did you know that most small business owners hate looking at their financials? It's one reason they may struggle with business success. The Profit Answer Man Podcast helps them ensure they are profitable and can pay their employees and weather the storms we all have to face. It's built on the Profit First methodology of pay yourself first. The Profit Answer Man Podcast is a must listen to for every small business owner and anyone who wants to help them survive and thrive. Check it out on your favorite listening platform.
1000%, because you're so right. They have to rely on the knowledge and the experience of the syndicator or the principals to do the right thing and to find the right deal, I call it, or opportunity, which actually in the last 4 or 5 years, people have been overpaying, quite a bit just to make the numbers work through the cap rates and all, Rocky, and that's why we only bought one deal right there in 2020. And we only bought like already built apartment building, I'm talking, and then 2 deals in 2019, but then with the ground up construction, which we are doing with senior living, now that is a very good facet we got entered into because we start from scratch. So in other words, instead of buying already built assisted living facilities, we like to build brand new, and we do big studies and get other companies involved in doing the demographical shifts and trends and what's in that particular city or town where we want to build it at. So it takes us about 9 to 11 months just to do the studies and do environmental studies, then do the feasibility studies, and then get the city council and the building permits all secured, because we want to make sure that the demand is there and that the city is liking our great A+ facility to come there in their city. So all that has to be done way before we start raising the money, because we don't want to tie up anybody's money into the deal at all. Only after we are fully 100% confirmed and we are ready to put the shovel in the ground, that's when we tell our investors, and we have quite a few now. With the grace of God, we have 348 investors that we have already been working with us, and they've invested many, many times in many deals, and we have sold also quite a few. So they have gotten their money back also.
And just so people know, because they may not realize, what is usually the minimum investment that people need to be ready to make to get involved in syndicated deals?
That's a good point. I would say that the good syndicators who have very nice packets and opportunities, I would say they might let you put 50,000. They usually put 50 or 100 as the minimum. Now there is crowdsourcing out there also on the internet where you could even put 5,000, let's say, or 10,000. But that really dilutes the whole proposition, because if you need about like $10 million, there'll be hundreds and thousands of people in just that one deal. In my company, I've done 34 syndications so far, Rocky. So our minimum is 100,000, which I started about 12, 13 years back, and I stayed true to it. So what that did was, we had few investors who are really committed. They stayed in the deal, and then we were able to, some of them even put 200, 300, 400, like the last senior living deal I did, 700,000 was invested by one family in that one, So some people even invest 500, but you're right, that's a good point. It depends on the syndicator. If they are very much just starting out in the syndication business, they might even take 25,000 also, but we go for 100.
And so you may not want to go with somebody who will take less, because that means they have less experience. Again, this is a game of experience and understanding what is good and what works. And so that's all part of the whole deal and making sure that it comes together.
That is so true. And I hope anybody listening to us, please ask a lot of questions and meet with the principals, and don't let their, like other people in the team talk to you. If you cannot reach the principals, then there is some problem. You got to make sure that you are fully understanding where they're coming from, and they need to be totally geared to give time of the day and have the total transparency. That's the word. Trust comes from transparency. And then also the meeting of the investor meetings every quarter on the quarter, and having portal where you could see all the financials and all those. But like I've been doing it for 14 years. And every quarter on the quarter, I invite investors on Zoom, and we record it live, totally live. And then those people who came, investors who could come or those who could not come, we send the link to the recorded video of the investor meeting with the PowerPoint presentation, my picture, my talking to them, everything. And they can see it at their leisure also later on. So it's very, very important to make sure that, the money, it's hard-earned money from the investors. So we take it very, very seriously. Like in my company, my wife, Kanchan, is the VP of Investor Relations. So only she, me, and myself and her and our VP of Finance know these investors and their information. Nobody else knows it in our company. Nobody. Because see, we want to make sure that we are able to give them the best of the best service. And at the same token, we don't want anybody to, go after our investors, let's say, or, things like that, because we like to take care of their questions, their emails, their texts personally, because we want to, take care of them as soon as they ask us to, get any information.
And I know for a lot of people, coming up with $100,000 in cash isn't always easy. People may not realize, but there are ways to do this through their IRAs as well, correct?
It sure is, Rocky. I'm glad you brought it up. Retirement funds, there is 31 trillion with a T, $1 trillion in retirement funds in USA alone. And we were just discussing that last week. But you are right. You could take your Roth IRA, your traditional IRA. You can take your 401k. You can take your, SEP IRAs. There is something called QRP, Qualified Retirement Plans, where there is a checkbook control. And all those different avenues are there. We can roll over our 401ks and others into IRAs also. I'm not, authority, but we know lots and lots of investors of ours have been investing money not only in cash, but also through the retirement funds, which is amazing because it's tax deferred. That is the beauty of it. So people can get high returns in the 15, 16, 18, 20% return per year, never have to pay any taxes because it's deferred. So you are right, 100% retirement funds are amazing, amazing way to grow wealth.
And it's always good, especially with what everyone is predicting for upcoming taxes. So we'll see what happens. I was on your website and I noticed one of your blog posts. It was talking about the different markets and how different markets are in different stages. So I think people need to realize real estate is local, and some areas are booming and some areas are contracting. And COVID has dramatically shifted the real estate landscape just into where everybody is moving to and how they're doing that. Housing is booming at the moment. What are you seeing? What's hot right now and what's kind of slowed down dramatically?
Totally. Rocky, I would say I live in, Danville, Black Hawk, California, which is in the suburbs of San Francisco. And we've been living here for 40 years. And Silicon Valley is not far. San Jose, Santa Clara, Silicon Valley. And as you know, during the COVID, a huge shift has happened with Tesla leaving, Apple. I was just thinking about some other big ones, from California, right? But they are saying to the engineers, IT and engineering fields, that you don't have to come to the office every day and get into the traffic and things like that. So more remotely working from home offices is going to be a lot more prominent. A lot of people are moving to Austin, Texas. That's why I purchased a building, $35 million in Melbourne, Florida, which is on the tech space right there near to Kennedy Space Center. And I found during COVID, 98% of the residents were paying us the rents, 98%. And nobody left. And that's when we said, oh my gosh, because I had bought in San Antonio and Austin before, like in 2010 and 11 and 12, and I sold it, everything over there, So that's where I rushed back to Austin, and got a property involved, 308 units, and I closed on it, with my partner over in September, middle of September in 2020. And I'm still looking for really, really great deals right there in Austin, in San Antonio, even Houston is getting back up there. Then Atlanta, oh my gosh, Atlanta, so much is coming. The movie industry is moving from Hollywood straight to Atlanta. And they have these marvelous, marvelous structures to film the movies, film studios, all that. I bought 2 properties there, which I'm selling, but I'm going to buy more there. So Florida, Arizona's, North Carolina, huge, huge in the tech space over there, tech triangle, So a lot of things happening. Knoxville, Tennessee. I just had some meetings with the brokers there last week, and Indianapolis. Then, of course, if we come to Arizona, huge, huge structure, a lot of investments here. And again, like you said, emerging market, right? It's local. It's so local. You could go to, oh, by the way, I forgot about Tampa, Orlando, and Punta Gorda, and all the places there for A+, which we don't buy A+, already built. I know Miami is just gone through the roof, But different, as the investors are listening to you and I hope they will really look into IRR.com. That's IRR.com. And they come out with really cool graphs which show us the cycle, which area it's hyper supply, in which area the expansion is coming on, and in which areas there is recovery coming along, So that's the best place to invest when the recovery is coming, and then it's going to increase the rents and so on, and then go to the pie, up there, and then it will start going down when the hyper supply comes, when there is when the prices start dropping or the jobs have left. So I've been chasing jobs, Rocky, for the last 14 years, because I have to be very, very candid with my investors that the increase in rent is going to come because the purchase power or the rentable power of my residents, they could afford, $50 more or $100 more or $150 more, than what they are paying right now. So all those things come from the emerging markets. At the same token, I'm very much at peace with me now because senior assisted living, multifamily, is not job driven. So actually, all I have to make sure now is the demographical shifts and make sure we know that the demand will be there for the non-working class, we call it, which is 85 plus or 83 plus, who are the residents in our communities, the senior assisted living communities. That way, even the economy has zero effect on it. COVID never had any effect, but also the job market has no effect on it because these are the seniors. We charge about $4,500 to $5,500 a month, by the way, and that's total, everything included in it. Laundry, linen, caregiving, personal caregiving, all 3 meals, snacks, transportation, entertainment, using of everything in that, community. So we are not building like big Taj Mahals for $10,000 a month, even though it's luxury what we are building, but we are building in very nice middle class, seniors where they can really enjoy our facilities.
You have to find where the demand is and follow and get ahead of it. And that's where you make the greatest opportunities. And so it's taking the time to research and look at the data. And a lot of people don't do that. They don't look at the data. They go by their gut. Oh, I think this is going to go, or I think this is going to grow. And I tell people, no, go look at the actual numbers, figure out what's true, and then make great investments based on that.
Totally, totally. I'm so glad you're saying that. I know we were just doing a discussion on U-Haul report just came out. So U-Haul report is really, really amazing report because they tell us where people are coming from and where they are going. So they statistically show us in what parts of the USA, what cities on the top, lot more people moving into. So that's a very good, just like you said, data, you're right. There are so many places on the internet where we could just go to city-data.org or com, I think is the one. And there are other, just Googling it and just finding out to say in certain MSA, what's the job trends or demographical trends, and how is the population increasing or decreasing? It's all there on the internet. It has made it so easy for us to be data scientists.
And I think everyone is moving to Tennessee.
No, seems like you're so right. Rocky. Yes, Memphis, Knoxville, Nashville, you name it. Wow, for sure.
That's incredible. And it's been going on for quite a while. I was in Nashville, I think, the fall before COVID. And when you look at the city line, I think there were 38 high-rise cranes.
Wow.
On the city line. So you know that their downtown is booming, putting up very large buildings. And if that's the case, then, everything else has to be built to support that.
Surely.
And it's people move and you gotta follow their movements and see. Are there any other sources that people should look to find out what's going on in markets?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Of course, there are US reports and news lists are there. Fortune.com, they have lists also of where the millennials are moving, where the seniors are moving. Of course, I was just going to open up my little pad here. We just did a whole chapter in my academy, and we had so many things as to the research. I would love to give your market research resources. It's right in front of me. Love to talk about it if you would like. Allow me. city-data.com city-data.com, census census.gov gov, and then bestplaces.net bestplaces.net, Department of Numbers. Wow. Just Google that word, Department of Numbers. You'll be surprised how much data is there. Then Milken's Best Cities Report. Milken's, Milken, Milken Best City Reports. Then Justice Map, JUSTICEMAP, Justice Map is a great site. VR Apartments. I mean, if you're looking into apartments, purchase or where they are going, VR Apartments is another great site. DataUSA.io. Wow, what a tremendous site. DataUSA.io. I did mention in this podcast IRR. Please do see that. Then also there are some great big companies like CBRE Research, and you could put anything you want next to it, multifamily, office space, hospitality. It will give you a lot of great reports. Another great one is Cushman and Field Research. Cushman, Cushman, Cushman and Field Resources or research for anything like multifamily, office, retail, hospitality, all there. So there are so many great places. I hope this could be of some help.
Yeah, that's very helpful. I'm starting to wonder. I didn't think Ohio was a booming place, but it is a booming place. I don't know what's driving their particular demand. It's not something most people talk about.
No, you're so right. Columbus and Cincinnati and Dayton, those are the big three, right? Toledo, Ohio, too, is up there. But I know in my previous life, I lived in Findlay, Ohio. When you said Ohio, Findlay, and then I lived in Bowling Green. That's where we got married, my wife and I. I remember this thing really chuckling. She came into this 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. There were cockroaches there. She says, "Oh my gosh, where did you bring me to?" I still remember that. And then, when our president wanted to meet me, when after we got married, they said, "Vinney, we want to see if you want to move to California to expand the whole region for the company. We don't have any office in San Francisco. Would you like to, look into it?" And I shared it with Kanch, and she jumped. She says, "Yes, anything to get out of this Bowling Green apartment." So rest is history. So no, you're right. Ohio is getting lots of great, I think, again, I have not bought there, to be truthful, but anybody who wants to look into economic growth, I find Google the best friend for you. Google, just put like Columbus Economic Growth 2020 or Columbus Economic Growth 2021. That's it. Or Cincinnati Economic Growth, or you could say Cincinnati Multifamily Growth 2020. And even if after that you put PDF for the PDF documents, Google searches all through the computers to find you these great documents, which somebody probably found it or they made it or whatever. They will show up on our links right there on the laptop. Then many times, Rocky, I also put PPT, PowerPoints. So I could say like Austin, Texas, for example. So Austin, Texas, Economic Growth 2021, PPT with a space in between. So if somebody has done and they made it public to let people use that PowerPoint, it's going to show up right there. So that's my little trick. I like to, get some data things which have been sought after for certain MSAs, metropolitan areas or cities. I do Googling, and then you, of course, can get those pieces. Yeah.
And there's tons and tons of data out there. You just have to take the time to sort through it, figure it out, and then take action based upon what you find. And I don't think people are thinking this far ahead, but we know how close this last election was. And with this many people moving across state lines, the political maps may change dramatically as well. So there may be some surprises in 4 and 8 years of which states vote in which ways, and it'll be interesting to watch and see what comes of it all.
So true, so true. Again, I feel very optimistic. Again, you had asked me what will happen to the COVID world. Yes, at this time, as we all know, hospitality is really, really down. Retail sector is down. And also the office buildings, repurposing of the office buildings and repurposing of the hotels is happening right now. But the big thing is that we will see, we have to be cautious, but some great opportunities will emerge in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th quarter. I foresee some foreclosures also happening in the commercial sector. But the big thing is that we need to have the money ready, investors' money or our money and loan qualifications, all that ready so that we could, make some good decisions in getting some, investments going.
Based on our conversation, what's one action step people can take to move forward this week?
Thank you, Rocky. I would definitely say, please look at this is, goal setting is always in my mind. Have some good, solid goals for today. Whatever you accomplished yesterday, but please look at 2 or 3 major things you want to do to make it a better day today. Better day today. It could be something out of the ordinary. It could be something outside the comfort zone. It could be something that you always wanted to do, but didn't get time to do it. Please do that today.
So this is being recorded in late January, and it's funny because just this morning on Facebook, I posted a picture of my gym because it was unusually empty today. And I'm like, it must be the end of January. Everyone left the gym and gave up on their goals. Hopefully that's not true. We'll see how it goes. It's time to learn the secrets of life. What's your secret to living an abundant life?
Rocky, thank you. I think positivity and also just no fear. I think no fear is the word comes to my mind. I think if everybody thinks that, don't be afraid of the death and taxes are 2 things I say, don't worry about anything else. Make sure we pay proper taxes and don't worry about death. When God is going to take us up there, He is going to take it. But let's make the best of it right now. So abundance living is coming with abundance mindset and thinking everything 5 times, 10 times. What can happen if I expanded my thinking to this level? So, and we all have dreams. So dream even bigger than what we are dreaming right now, because no matter what, your expectations about the dreams, when you put them into the timeline, you can accomplish. Like in my mind, Rocky, I don't want to blow anybody away. My mind is $2 billion of assisted senior livings. I want to construct $2 billion. And I'm the guy who came from India with $7 in my pocket. So sometimes I look at myself, I say, what, Vinney, you had 0, but how have you expanded to believe that it's attainable, So abundance is all mindset, but please do think big.
Letting go of fear is not easy. That's a hard one. What did you learn later in life that you wish you would have learned sooner?
I'm glad you asked me that. I always have felt that don't look back. But to be very truthful, I was a motivational speaker. And my wife always told me, she says, Vinney, the kind of time and effort and who you are, you should be making 10 times, literally. And I didn't believe in myself. My spouse, my conscience believed in me. But now we are so abundantly blessed because I went out of my comfort zone, and sometimes W-2 jobs can really put shackles around you. And that's what happened to me. 37 years, I was with one company. I thought I'm a senior stockholder, my money is going to grow, and which happened. But at the same token, it shackled me. I wish I had come out of the cocoon and become a butterfly many years back and be in real estate, because I have built all these 441 million portfolio we have right now. This is only in the last 7-8 years. But had I done it way earlier, maybe I would have lost it too, and then gained back up, with the economy downturns and all. But that's something I wish I had gotten into real estate, and it's becoming such a great passion, and I love it. I breathe in it,
So true. Golden handcuffs can keep us from the life we truly could be living. If you were to give an 18-year-old one specific piece of wisdom, what would it be?
For an 18-year-old, please get your mind set up to be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur. So even though you may take up a W-2 job, little bit, you will be working for a boss, but get into your mind, you want to do a side hustle right away, so that you can bring more money, streams of income, so that you can grow to be an entrepreneur.
I wish I had listened to that advice when I was 18.
Me too. I'm just saying it now at 68 because I've seen the waters. But I am so passionate, Rocky. Just bless your heart for bringing me to your show. I'm doing academy. I've done a youth academy, which is for free. Always it will be. And we are adding more chapters. And we are even taking it to YouTube channel now, so that lots and lots of youth, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 years of age can learn the things that I just mentioned about entrepreneurship. We got so many different chapters that we are writing, and also we'll be videotaping it, myself and Kavita together. She's from Austin, Texas. So we are building it together to give back to the youth.
And thank you for that and for your giving back. If people would like to follow you, learn more about what you do, what is the best way for them to do that?
The best way is my website is Vinney Chopra. That's V as in Victor, INNEY CHOPRA, Chopra. So VinneyChopra.com. And there, if they would like to learn from us, then they could /academy. Or if they would like to invest with us passively to meet with us and get to know us, then it's just /invest. And I've written books. And once they come on that page, they will see my Twitter page, my Instagram page, my YouTube, all the different, pages. Yeah.
And I will make sure to put that in the show notes. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much, Rocky. God bless you. And thank you for giving so much back to the community. I really appreciate it. I listen to your podcast. It's quality, very quality content. Thank you.
As we said before, it always comes down to the data. Vinney shared a lot of resources. And if you're thinking about investing in real estate, being in a market that's booming and underserved is a great way to get ahead of the curve. I love his positive attitude and all the work he's doing to educate our youth about finances. Like Vinney, I have no desire to retire because I love the work I do. It makes for fun and interesting days and something to look forward to. Instead of growing old, I work on gaining knowledge and building myself up to be stronger. This week's action step was goal setting. So what is it that you want? You really do need to define that goal and execute. It's amazing how far you can go when you have clarity on the direction. Don't stare at the glass and debate if it's half empty or full. Take action and enjoy the drink. Next week, we have on Trey Taylor to talk about how a CEO only does 3 things. Plenty of life lessons in this episode, even if we aren't a CEO. He's got a great story to share. One of the things that guests look at when they come on the podcast is what the ratings look like. And so I would appreciate if you would leave a rating and possibly a comment. It allows me to attract better guests to share with you. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate your support. Thanks for listening. Have an abundant week.